In this lesson, we're going to take a look at different types of irony. So here's what we know. Okay, irony is when something completely unexpected happens. It's kind of like a surprising twist that you weren't expecting. Irony can be silly, funny, ridiculous. It can even be a little bit sad or scary. So we'll go through some examples. Okay, so actually, instead of saying too much more about it, let's just dive into some real life examples of ironic situations. After all, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So look at the irony in this particular image. We're looking at a 24-hour fitness location. We see a nice long stair step going up to the front door, and then we see escalators on two sides of the steps. And so you look at it and you think, wait a second, that seems kind of funny. Aren't you going to a fitness location so that you can work out, so you can get fit, so you can exercise? Why would they put an escalator there? That's so funny. It's so ironic. It's not exactly what you would expect to see there. In fact, it seems like it's the opposite of what you would see at a fitness location. But of course, there's always another side to the story. So if you think about it, what if you're going to this 24-hour fitness location because you're disabled in some way and you can't climb the stairs? Or if you're recovering from an injury and you can't climb the stairs? There are still other things you could do in a fitness location. But just for the sake of thinking about things that are at first unexpected, things you wouldn't normally expect to see, that's why this could be an example of ironic. You can also tell that the two people who are on the escalator, it doesn't appear that they have any kind of disability or injury. And you can't always tell by looking at someone, but it is interesting to think about how you wouldn't normally expect to see escalators outside of a fitness place. Okay, let's look at the irony in these images. We have two newspaper clippings. They both have to do with spelling, literacy, reading, things like that. Look at this first one. County spelling bee postponed one more time, and they misspelled postpone. Kind of funny, right? You wouldn't expect to see information about a spelling bee actually not spelled correctly. Same thing over here. Mississippi's literacy program shows improvement. So we're talking about reading and writing, and yet ironically, in the very title where we're talking about reading and writing, they actually misspelled the name of the state. So kind of ironic, kind of funny, but then no one's perfect, right? Okay, how about the irony in this one? We have a sign here that says, "Thank you for driving carefully through the village," and yet there's a car crashed with the sign knocked over on top of it. So it kind of, you can infer that the car was maybe not traveling safely and knocked over the exact same sign that was supposed to be protecting everyone, or reminding everyone to be protected. So a little bit ironic, right? That's not something you would expect to see. It's like the opposite of what you would think. How about this one? That famous saying that nothing is written in stone, and yet it appears to actually be written in stone. So kind of ironic, because the saying is the exact opposite of what you would see embedded in stone, right? How about this one? Phone out of service, give us a call, Pacific Bell. And so that's kind of funny because you're thinking, okay, wait a second. If my phone is out of service, how am I supposed to give you a call, right? I don't know that they really thought this one through, but that's kind of ironic. It's the opposite of what you would expect to see. How about this one? They set it up like a definition of irony. Irony is a noun, and drawing trees on paper. So they're saying that the definition of irony is drawing trees on paper, because of course, where does paper come from? Trees. And then, so it's like this weird circular issue, right? So paper from trees, then you draw a tree on the paper. It's just kind of funny. So that's kind of the point there, right? Recognizing irony in pictures is easy and fun, right? It's easy and it's fun. But what about in the things that we read? How can we tell when a writer is being ironic or is using irony to try to make a point, right? It's harder to see that in words. So what we have to do is we have to think about how ideas and information go together. It's kind of like that saying that opposites attract. We have to really pay attention to what we're reading or what we're watching to make sure we don't miss details that make something ironic. So before diving into any articles, before looking at anything that's written out, let's look at irony in some different situations, okay? So there are several different types of irony. Actually, there are three types: situational irony, verbal irony, and dramatic irony. So situational irony is exactly what it sounds like. It's an ironic situation. Something happens and it's the opposite of what you normally think would happen. Okay? Kind of like this image. This is an example of situational irony because you have the sign, they're trying to create a safe situation in the village, and then you have a car who apparently crashed into the sign. So it's just when the events or the situation seems ironic. Okay, so first of all, to dive deeper into the three types of irony, we've got a little video here for you on YouTube. There are several different ways that you can watch this video. So here's an image of what the video looks like. That way you can easily find it. You could go directly to YouTube. You could type in the 3 most common uses of irony, right? You could type it into the search bar. You could find this video. You can tell this is what it looks like. It's 3 minutes and 23 seconds long. That's one way to access it. Another way to access it is you could just type in this short link, okay? Type in the short link and you can watch the video there. If you have a phone or an iPad nearby, you could also scan the QR code here. So several different ways to watch this video that explains a little bit more about situational irony and that actually gives you an overview of the 3 different types of irony. So situational irony, verbal irony, and dramatic irony. All right, so you could pause this video, grab the QR code or type this in, watch the video, and then come right back here and we'll go on to the second video. Here we are at the second video. This one specifically shows an example of situational irony. These little Simon's Cat videos on YouTube, if you just go to YouTube and type in Simon's Cat, and there are so many examples of these short little videos that are full of ironic situations. You do have to look very closely at all the details in these little videos because it's very easy to miss. It could be something as simple as the cat blinking or the cat running out of the room. And if you look up, if you miss it, then you'd miss the whole point. So go to Simon's Cat, type in, you go to Simon's Cat on YouTube. You can even type in Simon's Cat, Cat and Mouse. That's the title. You'll find this exact video. You can type in the short link right here, or if you have a separate like iPhone or phone near you, you could scan it here and check out that video for situational irony. I'll meet you back here when you're done. Okay, a couple other examples of situational irony. Try this one. Again, you have to look really close. You have to really listen to all the dialogue and pay attention to what's happening in the action in order to see what's ironic. So again, you can scan the QR code with a phone or iPad. You could also type in the short link into your internet browser and you can find the video that way. Meet me back here when you're done. Okay, so we just saw several examples of situational irony. Let's talk about dramatic irony. Dramatic irony is really fun. You know that feeling you get when you're watching a movie, watching a show, and you know what's going to happen, but the character doesn't know. And it's like, don't open that door. Don't go down those stairs. Don't go into the forest because you know what's in there. The author set it up for you on purpose. That's dramatic irony. It's when we know something is happening that the character doesn't know. Okay, so check out this particular Simon's Cat video. Again, you can type in Simon's Cat fish tank in the search bar on YouTube. You could type in this little short code here. It'll also take you to the same video. You could also scan it with your phone or with your iPad. So look for the part of the video where you know what's happening, but the character in the video does not know what's happening. Meet me back here when you're finished. Okay, here we are at verbal irony. This is the third and last type of irony we're going to talk about today. We call it verbal irony because it's when we say something that has multiple meanings, okay? When things have more than just one meaning. Verbal irony is where we get a lot of sarcasm. It could also use hyperbole, like a major exaggeration. It could even be an understatement or an overstatement, right? If you're visiting the North Pole and you sarcastically say, it's warming up out here, I need my, swim trunks, that would be an understatement, because maybe it's only warming up to, -30 or something. So a few different ways to watch this video too. This is not a Simon's Cat video, it's a different video, but you can type in the short link here. You could also scan it with your phone right here, and it's just a short little video on verbal irony. Meet me back here because I've got one last video for you on verbal irony. Okay, one more explanation about verbal irony just to help you see it in another perspective. Okay, so you can type in the little link here. You can scan this if you have an extra, a phone or iPad device laying around. But go ahead and check out the video here. It's just explaining verbal irony in another way. Sometimes it helps to hear things explained in different ways. So that's the purpose here. So if you had a chance to pause the video, if you're back here with us right now, then your next task has to do with working with these different types of irony. So just be ready to explain the difference between verbal irony, situational irony, and dramatic irony. Make sure you've got those differences in your head, or that you've got them jotted down here. You can always come back to the video and just skip ahead to these blue slides right here to get a quick definition, just, to get a quick review. That's it for right now.